Good evening, I'm Jessica Lee. Welcome to News at 10. The possibility of an increase in contracting the COVID-19 virus in the country showed that cases can still go up, as are happening in many European countries. Now, this worrying situation teaches us to be more careful and vigilant, despite the country reaching more than 95% adult vaccination rate. What is clearly important is to continue to adhere to the SOPs in our every movement. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah had cited that the basic reproduction number, or the R0 of COVID-19 infections in Malaysia, had climbed back up to 1. Now, R0 is an indicator of how contagious the infection is, shows the average number of people who will contract the disease from a single infected person. Even though the daily COVID-19 cases are levelling off, the public are urged to still strictly follow the SOPs, while vulnerable groups need to get booster doses immediately when the appointment is made.
Saya rasa silap dia apabila semua orang berasa yakin dengan vaksin tu, dengan walaupun 2 dos dia rasa yakin, oh saya dah ada 2 vaksin, so saya rasa saya boleh free. Macam kalau nak pergi kelas pun ada yang tak pakai, ada yang tak scan QR code, ada yang tak scan temperature.
Semenjak dah terbuka banyak sektor ni, memang orang dah start ni lah, tak jaga sangat dia punya SOP tu. Memang ramai rapat-rapat memang dah rasa macam hilang lah COVID ni. Memang satu kesilapan yang besar juga lah yang saya perasan. Macam kalau pergi ke kafe, makan-makan memang tak. Kan sebelum ni kan kerusi kan ada dia punya pangkal kan. Sekarang orang dah duduk, main duduk je.
Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah today said post-COVID-19 requires wisdom in leadership, as well as dynamic and energetic management in planning recovery strategies that can create a meaningful impact on the people, especially in efforts to eradicate poverty.
Kebijaksanaan barisan pemimpin terdahulu memformulasikan program pembasmian kemiskinan pada era pasca merdeka dan pada era dasar ekonomi baru mula diperkenalkan, hendaklah dijadikan rujukan, panduan dan pedoman.
Sultan Nazrin said this at the investiture ceremony for state awards and medals held in conjunction with his 65th birthday celebration at Istana Iskandaria in Kuala today, which was also attended by Raja Permaisuri Perak, Tuanku Zara Salim. At the ceremony, Sultan Nazrin presented awards and medals to 38 of the 339 recipients, while the second session of the ceremony for the remaining recipients will be held on a date to be approved by Sultan Nazrin, subject to the COVID-19 situation at that time. Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Sarani Muhammad, who leads the list of 339 recipients, was conferred the Darjah Datuk Sri Paduka Mahkota Perak, or SPMP award, which carries the title Datuk Sri. Perikatan Nasional, or PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin today launched the coalition's manifesto for the Malacca state election titled Malacca Bangkit Gemilang, based on 6 cores, 11 strategies and 74 measures. The PN's 6 cores involve boosting the economy, the people's welfare, strengthening the tourism sector, environmental sustainability, infrastructure efficiency, as well as strong and transparent governance. However, unlike Barisan Nasional and Pakatan Harapan's manifestos, PN did not pledge to allocate equal funding for all assemblymen, regardless of the political party. There was also no mention of PN's chief minister candidate. Tan Sri Muhyiddin promised to allocate financial aid for the maintenance of Tahfiz schools registered with the Malacca Islamic Religious Department, as well as a 200 ringgit one-off aid payment for teachers in registered Tahfiz schools and kindergartens. The PN will also seek to improve the level of education in Malacca and make the state among the top 3 in Malaysia for major public examination results. A one-off aid of 200 ringgit will also be channeled to parents of babies born this year. He told Malaccans that this was their chance to rectify the situation, urging them to be bold in initiating change in the state. Malacca will be given priority for 5G services under the National Digital Network or Jendela initiative. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said this was because Malacca is popularly known as a tourist state and has the potential to attract many foreign investors. Tan Sri Anwar said before the rollout of 5G services, Malacca would first be empowered and equipped with 4G services through the Point of Presence or POP fiberization program. To improve internet access services in Malacca at this time, Tan Sri Anwar, who made random visits to several places in the state, has asked the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, and the telecommunications companies or telcos to install boosters in several locations following high usage.
Ini bermakna Melaka memerlukan 5G. Jadi 4G ini preparation untuk sebelum kita roll out 5G. Bermakna secara keseluruhan Melaka akan diberikan prioriti yang tinggi ya. Untuk roll out Jendela fasa 2, saya akan buat semakan untuk menambah peruntukan untuk Melaka. Yang kedua untuk POP Point of Presence untuk membuat fiberization bagi sekolah dan kawasan industri dan 5 km di sekitarnya dapat disegerakan, ditukarkan daripada copper sistem kepada sistem fiber optik ya.
Now, RTM will continue to be the voice of truth and a trusted source of information, especially in light of the ongoing Malacca state elections. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said RTM is always focused on the quality of its news and does not irresponsibly report information which are not verified and inaccurate. The minister went on to say that holding on to the principle of conveying the truth has made the station a trusted source for valid information by the public.
Jarang kita dengar RTM mengeluarkan berita yang half truth ya. Dan ini adalah satu kualiti pemberitaan yang sangat mahal harganya kerana keyakinan orang itu dia bergantung kepada track record. Dan track record RTM adalah track record kita menjaga kesahihan berita dan ketepatan berita dan juga sumber yang kita kutip berita kita tidak simply kutip di mana-mana sahaja. Kita kutip daripada sumber yang sahih. Jadi kualiti pemberitaan kita adalah yang kekal yang terbaik.
Elaborating further, Tan Sri Anwar said RTM always practice a high-quality news ethics, especially in terms of content, compared to other news platform which only seeks sensational news and to gain popularity. The Unity Squad has been renamed RT Cares Unity Squad to better enhance delivery service to local communities under the 3 basic principles in inter-ethnic relations, namely understanding, respect and acceptance, which are being focused in developing Kami at Malaysian Family Unity Plan 2021-2025. National Unity Minister Dato' Halimah Muhammad Sadiq said, according to the Malaysian family concept and approach, it was important for people of this country to celebrate diversity, and the 3 principles must be emphasized to promote better integration. Elaborating further, Dato' Halimah said the RT Cares Empowerment Program was initiated to expand the role of the volunteer squad, which was established at the Rukun Tetangga community level in 2014. And to date, there are 125 squads nationwide. She added that there are also plans to improve the quality, harmony and well-being of the Rukun Tetangga community affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, among others through the distribution of food boxes and welfare assistance.
Di mana kita buat kerjasama dengan pihak swasta dan sebagainya, dan pihak swasta memberikan sokongan untuk apa juga bentuk bantuan, dan kebanyakan bantuan merupakan kotak-kotak makanan yang kita edarkan kepada mereka yang memerlukan dalam kawasan-kawasan KRT kita, dan sumbangan itu datang bukan saja daripada pihak swasta tetapi juga daripada pihak masyarakat tempatan.
Speaking at the launch of Kami at Malaysia Family Unity Plan 2021-2025 feedback session and RT Care's Unity Squad Empowerment Program at Dewan Jubilee Perak Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah in Bentong Pahang today, Dato' Halimah said the Unity Plan was drafted in line with the National Unity Policy and the aspirations of the National Unity Blueprint and the National Unity Action Plan 2022-2030 with the goal to boost social cohesion and unity sustainability. The Cabinet has agreed to form a special task force to review the actions and legal issues regarding the Pulau Batu Putih or Pedra Branca, Middle Rocks and South Ledge case. The Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Parliament and Law, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tunku Jaafar, said the task force, which would be led by former Attorney General Tan Sri Muhammad Apandi Ali, would also recommend the best options on the government's direction for the case. According to Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi, the Cabinet's memorandum regarding the formation of the Special Task Force, including the terms of reference, membership and financial implications, will be tabled for consideration and approval by the Cabinet in the near future. The Special Task Force will submit their findings and recommendations to the Cabinet meeting within 6 months, as decided in the meeting on the 29th of October. The Legal Affairs Division of the Prime Minister's Department, Attorney General's Chambers, AGC, and the Foreign Ministry will act as the Secretariat for this Special Task Force. The Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, or MOSTI, welcomes the latest industrial technology and products which can help reduce emissions, hence ensuring environmental sustainability in the country. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Dr. Adham Baba, said cooperation among the various parties, such as in producing high technology to recycle used items, could help realise the desire of making Malaysia a low-carbon country by 2030. Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said low-carbon towns and cities could have a positive impact on the communities, especially in reducing the effects of climate change. MOSTI will be collaborating with the Ministry of International Trade and Industry, or MITI, and Malaysian Technology Development Corporation, MTDC, to achieve the aim.
Ini satu daripada usaha besar negara untuk mengurangkan carbon emission. Kita ada polisi untuk menjadi high-tech nation 2030 dan waktu yang sama kita akan mengurangkan carbon emission dengan energy renewable serta mengurangkan produk-produk yang waste ni seperti bahan-bahan terpakai ini. Semoga boleh dikitar ataupun di recycle dan utilize balik resin tersebut dalam bentuk yang lebih manfaat.
He said this to reporters after visiting the Murni industrial area in Senai today. Datuk Sri Dr. Adham added the involvement of various parties in the country and outside, such as Japan and Austria, to develop technology that can reduce carbon emissions will also open up more investments and employment opportunities. On the 3rd of November, it was reported that Malaysia was implementing the Low Carbon Mobility Blueprint 2021-2030 with the strategies and action plan for the land transportation sector towards reducing energy use and greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. The opening of the second Borneo Cultural Market in Bangi, Selangor is seen as a very appropriate platform to help businesses affected by the COVID pandemic get back on their feet. According to Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri, at the same time, the market will help boost the country's economy.
Mereka juga dapat menjanakan pendapatan dan saya nampak produk-produk bukan saja dari segi makanan tetapi produk-produk yang lain, pakaian pun dijualkan di sini. Ini satu peluang terbaik untuk kedua-dua pihak Pihak yang pertama ialah yang menjualnya. Pihak kedua ialah mereka yang dapat menikmati, merasai produk ini. Jadi kedua-duanya mempunyai, orang kata dapat, it's a win-win kind of situation lah. Jadi bagi kami, Motek, kami dapat menambahkan lagi satu niche produk untuk negara kita, produk pelancongan tempatan.
Speaking after opening the second Borneo Cultural Market in Bangi, Datuk Sri Nancy said various activities and cultural products plus Borneo food and beverage will be available from 60 businesses from Sabah and Sarawak. The market is open every Sunday from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. Police crippled 2 syndicates, drugs worth more than 1 million ringgit seized.
Loss of interest, difficulty in keeping focus while doing daily tasks, likes to isolate from others, suffers from sleep disturbances, loss of appetite, and also behaves aggressively towards oneself and others, feeling helpless and like you are a burden on others around you. If you have any of these symptoms, immediately get medical consultations to prevent a more severe situation. We can change it.
Two men were killed while 2 others suffered injuries in a head-on collision between a car and a stage bus in Jalan Degong, Kampar early today. A Perak Fire and Rescue Department spokesperson said that all the victims were travelling in a Proton Persona in the 6 a.m. incident. Elaborating further, spokesperson said the department received a distress call at 6:09 a.m. The deceased were identified as the car's driver and front passenger, while the injured were the back passengers. He said the driver of the bus escaped unhurt, adding that the bodies of the deceased were then handed over to the police for further action. The injured victims were taken to the Raja Permaisuri Bainon Hospital for further treatment. Johor Police crippled 2 drug smuggling syndicates and seized various types of drugs worth 1.11 million ringgit in 3 raids conducted in Johor Bahru and in Kota Tinggi on the 9th and the 10th of November. State Police Chief Dato' Ayub Khan Madin Pichai said in the first raid, conducted between 1:50 p.m. and 3 p.m. on the 9th of November in Kota Tinggi, a 39-year-old local man and an Indonesian man aged 49 were arrested. And following their arrest, police found 14.55 kilograms of shabu worth 36,392 ringgit hidden in a Honda CR-V. Briefing reporters today, Dato' Ayub Khan said police also seized a car, a Yamaha LC135 motorcycle, 564 ringgit and 279 Singapore dollars. Both the suspects are in remand for 7 days from the 10th of November for investigation under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act. He said the other 2 raids conducted in the Johor Bahru district on the 10th of November led to the seizure of 1.07 million ringgit worth of drugs believed to be for use at private parties and entertainment centres. The seizure comprised 21.18 kilograms of ecstasy powder, 78.6 grams of ketamine, 1.8 grams of shabu, 90 ecstasy pills and 170 aramine 5 pills.
Modus operandi yang digunakan oleh sedikit ini adalah menyewa apartment, gated and guarded, yang dijadikan sebagai store untuk pembukusan dadah untuk aktiviti private party dan pusat hiburan di sekitar kawasan Johor Bahru. Dan sedikit ini juga telah beroperasi sejak Ogos 2021.
He said a 23-year-old local man and a married couple aged 59 and 53 were arrested in the raids. The 3 suspects are now in remand for 11 days for investigation. The police have arrested a man who allegedly offered a 200,000 ringgit bribe to policemen to release 5 members of a syndicate detained for being involved in online scams. Negeri Sembilan Police Chief Dato' Muhammad Mat Yusof said the suspect in his 30s was detained at a petrol station in Bandar Baru Nilai at 1:40 a.m. today. The suspect was detained after he offered the bribe to the police team. A briefing reporters today, Dato' Muhammad said the suspect will be handed over to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission for further action. He said the police team had earlier raided an apartment at 10 p.m. last night and arrested 5 suspects, including 2 women aged between 21 and 24, for allegedly being involved in an investment scam. Police also seized 15 mobile phones, 2 laptops and 2,473 ringgit from the suspects. Preliminary investigations have revealed that the syndicate was involved in scamming people over a non-existent investment scheme on Facebook. They would then contact their potential victims via WhatsApp and use bank accounts of other individuals to run the scams. The syndicate was believed to have been operating in Nilai for the past 6 months. Dato' Muhammad said police believe they had solved 11 cases related to the syndicate. Fight at Ecuador prison leaves at least 68 dead. Indonesian officials said a benzene tank in the country's largest oil refinery caught fire yesterday that may have been ignited by a lightning strike. The refinery's general manager, Iko Sunarno, said the blaze broke out at the tank of the Cilacap oil refinery in Java Island, owned by state oil company Pertamina, during a lightning storm. Elaborating further on the matter, Iko Sunarno said the officials were currently trying to extinguish the fire before they could investigate the exact cause. Sunarno further said no casualties were recorded as both workers and locals in nearby neighbourhoods were evacuated immediately. This was the second time fire has raged in the Cilacap oil refinery this year, which processes 270,000 barrels of crude oil daily, as a similar tank was in flames also after a lightning storm. In March, about 1,000 people were evacuated as fire engulfed 4 oil storage tanks at the Balongan refinery in West Java. Before the fire, an explosion was heard as lightning and thunder hit the area. At least 68 prisoners were killed and more than 24 injured in overnight violence at Ecuador's Penitenciaria del Litoral prison, in what officials characterized as fights among rival gangs. The penitentiary, located in the southern city of Guayaquil, is the same prison where 119 inmates were killed in late September, in the country's worst incident of prison violence in recent history. The government has blamed disputes between drug trafficking gangs for control of prisons for the violence. Dozens were gathered outside the prison yesterday afternoon, waiting for news of loved ones who many said they had not heard from since Friday afternoon. Ecuador's prison system has come under harsh spotlight in recent years for overcrowding and poor sanitary and living conditions for inmates. President Herdemo Lasso in September declared a 60-day state of emergency in the prison system, which freed up government funding and allowed for military assistance in control of the prisons. Yesterday, the president called on the Constitutional Court to allow the military to enter prisons instead of providing only outside security. The court responded in a statement that a solution to the prison crisis will require more than temporary emergency measures. The government said that further disturbances in the penitentiary in the afternoon were under control by Saturday night and added that it was meeting with rights groups and the United Nations to handle the situation. Coming up in sport, France and Belgium confirm their World Cup places. Vietnam has officially cancelled the 2021 ASEAN Para Games scheduled to be held in Hanoi next month due to health concerns and difficulties in bringing in technical and specialized equipment amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this is the second time the ASEAN Para Games have been cancelled, with the 2019 edition in Manila, the Philippines, also called off due to the global pandemic. The Vietnam Paralympic Association, or VPA, confirmed this in a letter to ASEAN Para Sports Federation APSF President Major General Osoth Bavilai. The letter was signed by VPA President Nguyen Bin Ai. The organisers cited the cancellation of the Games to the complicated situation brought about by the fourth wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in Vietnam. However, the VPA said the government retained the right to stage the 31st SEA Games scheduled for the second quarter of 2022. The APSF said in a statement that the decision was reached as it feels that the current situation has affected the COVID-19 control measures, especially due to the vulnerability of the disabled community or athletes with regards to their health and safety risks. The APSF will convene an emergency Board of Governors meeting as soon as possible to discuss the next course of action. The world champions France booked their place at next year's World Cup in Qatar in style as Kylian Mbappe fired in 4 goals in an 8-0 thrashing of Kazakhstan at the Parc des Princes. Mbappe set the ball rolling when he put the world champions ahead after just 6 minutes. The Paris Saint-Germain star added a second 6 minutes later and completed his hat-trick with a thundering header just after the half hour. Leading 3-0 at the break, France turned up the heat even more in the second half as Karim Benzema struck twice before Adrien Rabiot and Antoine Griezmann had their moments in the spotlight. It was fitting that Mbappe had the final say, stroking home his fourth to complete the rout 3 minutes from time. France top Group D, leaving Finland and Ukraine to scrap over second place. The French will be joined at the finals by neighbours Belgium as the world's top-ranked team saw off Estonia 3-1 in Brussels to ensure top spot in Group E. Belgium had dropped just a single point in qualifying up to this point and knew that victory over Estonia in Brussels would guarantee them top spot in Group E. Christian Benteke settled any nerves when he put them ahead after just 11 minutes. Yannick Carrasco then doubled the lead 8 minutes into the second half, and although Eric Sorga pulled one back for the visitors, Thorgan Hazard put the game to bed shortly after. Elsewhere, 2 late goals from Montenegro denied the Netherlands the chance to book a berth at next year's World Cup finals with a match to spare with their 2-2 draw. The Dutch were 8 minutes away from moving into an unassailable lead in the group with 2 goals from Memphis Depay, but goals from Ilija Vukotic in the 82nd minute and Nikola Vojnovic 4 minutes later meant the Netherlands must now wait for Tuesday's last home game against Norway in Rotterdam to book their place in Qatar. The Dutch currently remains 2 points ahead of the other teams in Group G. That's it from us in our top story. Special task force to review Pulau Batu Putih, Middle Rocks and South Ledge case. Join us for updates at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Jessica Lee. Thank you for watching.